But before we get started about the issues, you've got an announcement to make that we didn't know about when we got here.
Yes, good morning. And we have with us this morning Reverend Andre Evans. And I'd like to say I commend Reverend Evans for his effort. I commend any citizen that believes they have a platform that will better the situation for the people in our county and our district. They throw their hat in and present themselves as a candidate. And I greatly appreciate the efforts of Reverend Evans. It takes a lot to get into this political arena, and I thank him for his efforts.
You got 130 votes in the main Democratic primary, and you're asking your voters now to support Mr. Carolina.
Yes, first of all, let me thank you, Scott, and let me thank all of the voters, those who voted for me in the primary. And yes, I am definitely endorsing Mr. Carolina. I'm asking you to please go out and cast your vote for him. Start with early voting and make sure that you understand the issues, understand the individuals that are running. We need someone who has experience in management and someone who has the experience and understanding of what it takes to be able to endorse laws and to vote for laws, and someone who has a understanding of all of this and how it applies and how to utilize it effectively. I ask that you just examine for yourself the candidates. Look at the experience level, look at the background, and then if you are honest with yourself, you will vote for Mr. Everett Carolina. Thank you.
Now, we talked to you before the primary, and that interview is still online if people want to watch that one. So what are some of the issues you want to hit on before the runoff that you want to kind of emphasize?
Well, number one, that everybody is firstly aware of the time frame of the upcoming early voting. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's essential that if you choose to go and vote early, so do it. The official voting date is on the 25th. And from that point on, we're successful at that point in time. We have two major issues, the capital project sales tax and also the loss or the local option sales tax that once approved by the county council, it will then be on the ballot as a referendum come November. And we'll be having talking sessions between that point in time to further educate the voters in Georgetown County.
Now, let me ask you about one topic that keeps coming up, and it needs to keep coming up because it's very needed, affordable housing. That is something you're pushing for. I mean, you are. But now, let me just ask you about the vote that happened a couple of years ago. There was a chance for affordable housing to be developed on Highway 701 at Wedgefield Road. And you were one of the people that voted against that. And that has become a big topic in the past couple of weeks. You know, you say you want affordable housing, you had a chance to vote in favor of it and voted against it. Why? Why did you vote against that?
Number one, that particular project was absolutely not clear. It was not clear. I believe there were citizens who took up the banner of the developer to push the initiative. It was a situation to unload property and the county council to make a decision by rezoning, thus for the buyer to buy the subject property. We have property in other areas, in the unincorporated areas of Georgetown County, specifically Pennyroyal Road, that has water and sewer infrastructure, where the property per acre is far less than other areas. Currently, we're under a number of lawsuits on the Walkamore Neck. The issue is land with an acre value of $51,000 versus Pennyroyal Road, in some areas property owned by a major timber growing company for $5,100. I'm saying, why are we continuously trying to put a round peg in a square hole, upsetting the citizens on the Walkamore Neck, bringing about lawsuits where we have a clearer path for development of affordable housing? I'm absolutely for affordable housing. And that word is a misnomer because every county in the state of South Carolina, 46 counties, each one has a different annual median household income. and then you take 30% of that, and that equates to 30% of your annual income being able to pay for a mortgage or rent. And that will equate also how much of a house you can build. I am absolutely for affordable housing. It's finding the right developer and the right formula to make it work.
But you say not the Waccamaw Neck. Not the Waccamaw Neck for it.
It takes a special developer to come up with a formula that will allow a certain number of units to be in a development. It can be a subdivision where houses start at $350,000, and the developer comes as part of his selling point, well, we will provide 10% of the numbers for affordable housing. There are income scenarios that must be met. There are scenarios where after that individual who moves into that development, and after 4 or 5 years, after that unit has appreciated, they cannot sell it for the appreciated value, because they have to also continue with the agreement of the set aside, because others will be coming to move into that unit also.
But I've heard you say, and tell me if I heard you wrong, you don't want to upset the people on the Waccamaw Neck because of lawsuits and things like that.
Well, there's an easier way to go. There's an easier way to go.
Some people would say that you didn't vote in favor of the Wedgefield 701 development because you didn't want to upset the folks in Wedgefield.
No, the deal was not clear.
Okay.
The deal was not clear. The deal was not clear.
If you had to do it again, would you vote the same way on that?
Well, there are better opportunities than the Wedgefield-Weehall scenario.
Okay.
We're constantly knocking our heads against the wall, where there are other areas within this county that we can make affordable housing happen.
The one thing we talked about in our first interview, because some information has been circulated about the solar farm in Lambertown. There's been something circulated, I think you've got it there in your hand, saying that you voted in favor of the solar farm. Now, people can go check the minutes of the meeting where the vote took place. Is that correct? Did you vote in favor of it?
Absolutely not. And your newspaper article indicated that the ordinance passed 5-2. Everett Carolina and Raymond Newton voted no.
But you've got the paper, and it says you voted in favor of it.
Incorrect. This is false information. False information.
Now, I'm not sure, and somebody brought up the attention, and it's on that same piece of paper, something about $300,000 spent on tennis courts against the people's will.
Incorrect information.
Well, I mean, what's a tennis court? Where are they, and what is that about?
Number one, it goes back to where every council member was allocated $1 million to be spent in their respective district. This indicates as if we received personally $1 million. Only 10% of District 3 benefited from the $1 million he voted to give himself from 2014 penny sales tax. That money went directly into our respective districts. Monies were spent improving a walking trail on South Island Road. The $300,000 batted around, divided by 2, it actually came out to $167,000 allocated for North Santee and $167,000 allocated for the Sanford Community Park. North Santee voted to move forward with a tennis pickleball court. Project completed. Ribbon cutting was on March the 30th of this year. For 3 years now, 2014 to the present, it was just in April that the Sanford Community Organization voted to finally utilize that money to make improvements on their community park. It was not $300,000. It was $167,000 for the North Santee community and $167,000 for the Sanford community.
And they say you voted to raise taxes 8 straight years in a row.
Taxation is part of funding governmental operations. The Waccamaw Neck citizens pay approximately 82% of the taxes in this county. That funding money helps fund salaries, the building of buildings, the buying of equipment, the buying of law enforcement vehicles, ambulance, etc. Taxation is a way to fund the government operation.
Now, I brought up some of the issues on that pamphlet that was circulated over the weekend, but let me, because we just got a couple minutes left, talk about what you have done for the District 3 area in your 8 years, almost 8 years on council.
Beside paving projects, the pickleball court, tennis court situation, we have a pavement project going on now on South Island Road. We paved roads, Royal Pines and Simone Court on into the Sanford community. We've done a water line extension in the Sanford community. We've done a water line extension along Mount Zion Road, 3,200 linear feet. We have approved for a sewer extension for the North Santee community. North Santee had a $5 million USDA community sewer project grant 20 years ago that the community did not approve, did not accept it. I was able to get approximately $460,000 to extend the sewer line along Powell Road, and then it'll be engineered to go onto Mount Zion Road. And the North Santee community citizens then can sign a petition to receive sewer projects parallel to Mount Zion Road and Powell Road down to Highway 17. $200,000 for the removal of dilapidated houses in the Grave Station community and Greentown. Within the last 2 weeks, we received approval of a grant for $1,995,000 to relieve the drainage problems in part of the Lincolnshire community and Grave Station. We're doing a number of things. We're moving forward. Progress is there. As for economic development, as people go east and west along the Andrews Highway, you'll see the Andrews Industrial Park. Just take a ride back there. Turn left, turn right, whatever you're going, and go into the park to see the number of buildings being built, meaning businesses coming here, meaning jobs being created. I present myself as an elected servant, willing and ready to serve to improve the conditions of the people in Georgetown County, and specifically for District 3. No one can come and wave a wand or snap a finger and make things happen. As for my opponent, I believe there are major issues going on right now in the town of Andrews regarding water and sewer. Every other week it seems water lines are bursting, sewer lines bursting, going into businesses and so forth. Now, number one, take care of home, sweep around your own front door. There are major issues in the town of Andrews that need to be addressed. My opponent, never heard of him being involved in any sort of community improvement situation. We had a citizens group in Andrews after they saw the progress that we made in the Grave Station community of the blight removal. This citizens group drove through their town, identified dilapidated properties, over 40. They wanted to form a nonprofit. I said, no, I'll give you the roadmap on once we have finished our project in Grave Station. So again, you have very outstanding citizens who are lending themselves to the cause in Andrews, identifying dilapidated properties to be removed. By removing these properties, it improves the value of properties in the Andrews community. So again, we want to keep positive. We want to keep moving forward. We want progress. So again, you will get continued progress by voting to re-elect Everett Carolina.